And we are here at our last topic. This is communication. I've touched on it throughout this presentation, but I'm going to offer some tips and strategies, mostly for your children, because these are high school students and they are emailing us and we are emailing them, and it's wonderful to see them become that self-directed learner through distance learning. So I always remind my students, this is like a sandwich method. You start an email and end an email with something respectful, right? So we'll start it with being a nice greeting, and we'll end it with a thank you. And then in the middle of the sandwich is your question. Make sure that they're asking it specifically. So, hey, I was absent on September 13th. What can I do to make it up? So they're being specific. And the main point is just to tell them to please communicate with their teachers. Please reach out. I have a little example. If it was, hey, I couldn't get onto Zoom. And I have an example if it is, hey, I didn't like my grade. So these are just two different ways that students can reach out to say, hey, I ran into this issue. What can I do to not fall behind? Or, hey, I saw my score. Could you please explain to me how I can redo this assignment and what I can do to improve? It can be frustrating at times, especially if the student is frustrated with their particular course or assignment and they might not want to talk about it. So tips for discussing academics with teenagers is just to be encouraging, motivating, supportive, maybe even be that listening ear when they want to complain for a little bit, and then turning it around and reminding them that they got this, they can do this, and that you're there for them and that you know that they can do it. It's not what you do for children, but what you've taught them to do for themselves that will make them successful human beings. Failures are learning opportunities. We learn most from our mistakes in life. So just kind of reminding these concepts to our teenagers is going to be really helpful for them not beating themselves up when something goes wrong. And seek help. Ask questions and seek help. So with all of these recipes, ingredients, getting involved, having a healthy routine, having strong attendance and reaching out and having that communication between the teacher and the student and the parent will create a team of success. And through that team, we can have all students be successful with distance learning. So ways to get involved, please remember to ask if as next week gets started, you don't see an invitation to become a guardian. Please remember to ask your child's teachers. Say, hey, could you please invite me as guardian to the Google Classroom? Healthy routine. Please take a moment to see what moments of that routine were the pitfalls or the best that's in your household, and then try to think of some strategies of how you could make some positive changes. And then attendance and communication. Always maximize student attendance, and if they have to be absent, we get it. So just remind them to reach out to their teachers, and that can be that cannot be a barrier. I've had students be absent and come back from it. One of the topics that I touched on was the social emotional needs of teenagers, because this is very difficult to be learning through distance learning and to be removed from their social networks. So I would like to focus the next session on ways that we can support the social emotional needs of teenagers during this time. We have a wonderful program on campus called PBIS, and they've just done a virtual relaunch, and they're spreading positivity in all kinds of ways. And so that's what I'll be focusing our next session on, and it will be on October 15th. So it's in 3 weeks here at the same time. And I'm going to try to keep that a consistent theme as much as I can. If November 15th is not a holiday, so we'll see how we can consistently provide workshops and webinars to help parents every single month. as well as I'll be posting it on a YouTube that I'll share with the parents. It's called Parent University Channel. I'll put this presentation, video, other little how-to guides and support. And I look forward to seeing you there. Please mark your calendars. October 15th, tips to help teens cope during COVID-19. And we know that some are having an easier time coping with it, and some are having a little bit more of a difficult time. It's hard for all of us, but we can be there to help them get through this and turn it into a positive. So please feel free to reach out. If students had trouble with Zoom, does it count against them? Oh, you can't unmute, really? Let me see. So it does not count against them. And when my students had trouble with Zoom during these first 2 weeks, I did not mark them absent as long, and I speak for most teachers here, like as long as the student emailed the teacher did not mark them absent. And if that happened, Sherry will fix that, because if a student had Zoom complications, the school understands that. However, the student does need to make up that absence. So after they miss the Zoom, what most of us do is they record our sessions, just like I'm recording this right now, and then the teacher posts the recorded class for the student that was absent. And usually teachers will have them do like a summary after they make up the class, and that's how they make up their points. So please take a moment to write down my email. If you don't have any questions for right now, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. You can unmute yourself. I just gave you that ability, and chat as well. So here's a way that you could confirm that your teacher records the sessions. Is ask the teacher if they have it in their Zoom settings. Because when teachers, let's see here. So it's pretty easy if they just click on edit the teacher, and you can just email, basically, just confirming you can just email the teacher. But there's a checkbox right here. So when they're creating their Zoom sessions, they can click automatically record meeting. And videos are so gigantic that I always record them in the cloud, so it won't eat up the teacher's storage. About the PE class question, I just had a PE teacher, well, and I teach yoga, but I just had a PE teacher in my breakout room this afternoon in Mr. Ramirez's meeting, and he was telling me that they're posting the Beachbody workouts for the students before the class, and then they're physically doing the workouts with them during the class. And he's also giving visual handouts of like what the different positions are in the stances, because some of the students are having troubles with learning the movement from the screen. So the PE department is pretty rock solid. They've got a nice platform of a software that they're using. It's called PLT4M and Beachbody. So they have two software purchases that they're utilizing to help with student workouts. So those two different places that I want you to just take note of for the future is going to the YouTube. I'm going to put all these videos there, and I'll send an email through Aries Communicator to all of the parents. And so you'll be able to go to this YouTube and find these videos. And then lastly, there's my email, hnichols. If anything comes up later, I know questions might come up later as we go through this week, and even next week. If anything comes up as your children are starting their next classes, please email me next week as well. Just whenever I'm available. I do have one little quick form that I have opened up. Oh, if it's not high school accounts, wait, how about link? Yeah, yeah. I do have one quick form that I would be most grateful if you were able to fill out. And I did make sure that the settings on this form allowed external email accounts. So this form should be fine with filling out from whatever email. It's really, really quick. It just says, what are some ways to get involved in your child's education? Become a guardian, check Aries, frequently communicate, all of the above. What are the 3 tools we're using? We are using Aries in Classroom and Zoom, so it's all of the above as well. And then on a scale of 1 to 5, how helpful was the information shared today? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Did you learn anything new? Was it redundant and what you already knew? And if so, what else are you struggling with or learning to know more about? And you can write about in any other comments or questions, because just as I will check my email for your comments and questions, I will also go through these forms and I will analyze all of this feedback from this event. So without further ado, I really do appreciate you guys taking your time to show up on a dinner evening after a busy day. And I hope that you were able to pull something useful from it. So thank you for your time. If you're able to click on that link, I would greatly appreciate it. Just take you a couple minutes here. I can also email it out, as I will be emailing you the video. Thank you.